Welcome, dear students. Today, we'll be working on another section, which is how to solve quadratic equations. If we start by warming up from what we have studied before, if the question is asking you to solve this equation, which is x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0, let's factorize by making two brackets. For the two brackets, the first bracket is x plus 3, where the second bracket is x minus 2. And for sure, the product of them is equal to 0. We take each bracket, we make it equal to 0, then x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0, then x has two values, either the negative 3 or the 2. So the solution set for this equation is 2 and negative 3. If I do it by graph, as we're going to see now, if the function is f of x equals x squared plus x minus 6, where x belongs to the interval that starts from negative 3 closed until 4 closed. If you do the graph, and if you graph it on the graph paper, you will see that this graph will intersect with the x-axis at 2 points, at the negative 3 for x and also the 2 on the x-axis. So the solution is the meeting point between the curve and the x-axis, which is here, as you can see, at the negative 3 and the 2. Now let's go to example 1. The question here is asking us to represent the function graphically. What is the function? The function is f of x equals x squared minus 4x plus 3, where the domain that represents the x values belongs to the interval that starts from negative 1 closed until 5 opened. So from the graph, we're going to make our table of values, putting x by values negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you substitute the values of x in the function itself, you will get the results as x when it's equal to negative 1, the result is 8. X when it's equal to 0, the result is 3. X when it's equal to 1, the result is 0, and so on. If you go and plot these points on the graph, it will appear as a parabola. The shape of the quadratic equation, we call it a parabola. For this parabola, to find the solution set, as we said, is the meeting point or the intersecting point between the curve and the x-axis. As you can see here, the curve is touching the x-axis at 2 points, which are 1 and 3. So the solution set for this is 1 and 3. Now let's go to example 2. If we have the function f of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 7, where x belongs to the interval that starts from negative 1 closed until 7 closed. So these are the values that we're going to put on the table of values. I will put x from negative 1 until the 7. Let's do the table of values. X from negative 1 until 7. We go to the function. We substitute each x by this value. For example, when I substitute x by negative 1, the result would be 14. When I substitute x by 0, the result is 7, and so on. Let's go and graph. Plot all these points on the graph. It will give you the shape, which is a parabola. This shape is touching the x-axis twice. So approximately, you're going to get the values of x where the curve touches the x-axis. So as you can see here, x is equal to 1.6 and almost 4.4. So the solution set is 1.6 and 4.4. Now, in the coming examples, we're going to learn how to solve the quadratic equation algebraically. In here, in this example, we have this equation, which is x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals 0. We have a method that's called completing the square method. How to solve it? We complete the square, so we make x squared minus 4x plus 1. We add plus 3 and we subtract 3 equals 0. So it will be x squared minus 4x plus 4 minus 3 equals 0. If I put it in completing the square format, so it will be a bracket x minus 2 all squared minus 3 equals 0. Then we're going to move the 3 to the other side. So x minus 2 all squared equals 3. After that, how to remove the power of 2? Yes, excellent. On the other side, we make positive or negative root 3. Don't forget to make positive or negative root, not only root 3. So x minus 2 equals positive or negative square root of 3. We move the 2 to the other side, so x equals 2 positive or negative root 3. So here we have two solutions. The first one, x equals 2 plus square root of 3, where the other one is x equal 2 minus square root of 3. So the solution set is 2 plus square root of 3 and 2 minus square root of 3. The other way, we call it the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula, it says x equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Let me say it again. X equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac under this square root all over 2a. Let's see what is a, what is b, and what is c. From the quadratic equation, it is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a is the coefficient of x squared, and b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant that has no x. So, if I go to an example, the example says x squared plus 5x plus 5 equals 0. So, what is a? We said that a is the coefficient of x squared. So here we have no coefficient seen, so this means that it's 1x squared. So a is equal to 1, where b is equal to 5 and c is equal to 5. So here, let's put it on the quadratic formula. X equals minus b, so it will be negative 5, plus or minus b squared, which is 5 squared, minus 4 times 1 times 5, which is minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a, which is 2 times 1. If we do it with the calculator, and the question here is asking you to approximate to the nearest 3 decimal places, so x equals approximately to negative 1.382, and x equals approximately to negative 3.618. So the solution set is negative 1.382 and negative 3.618. Now let's move to example 5. X squared minus 4x plus 2 equals 0, and the question wants us to find the solution set after approximating it to 1 decimal place. So the coefficient of x squared is a equals 1. The coefficient of x is b, so here b equals negative 4, where the constant or the number with no x is 2, so c equals 2. If I put it on the quadratic formula, x equals minus negative 4, positive or negative, square root, negative 4 all squared, and don't forget to put the negative 4 between brackets, minus 4 times 1 times 2 all over 2 times 1. If you do it with your calculator, so x equals 3.4 and x equals 1.6. How to do it with the calculator? We do it once with a plus sign in the middle and one with a minus sign in the middle. So the solution set in here is 3.4 and 0.6. In example 6, the equation is x squared equals 2x plus 2. Yes, I want to make it in a format of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, so I need to move the 2x and the plus 2 to the other side. Yes, when we move them for sure, we need to change the sign. So, after moving it to write it in the right format, it will be x squared minus 2x minus 2 equals 0. Then a equals 1, and b equals negative 2, and c equals negative 2 as well. When we use the quadratic formula, x equals minus negative 2, positive or negative, square root. Again, the negative 2 should be between brackets. All squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 2 over 2 times 1. If I do this on the calculator, it's 2 positive or negative square root of 12 over 2. If you simplify a square root of 12, it's 2 root 3. And then the question is asking you to replace root 3 by 1.7. So the answer here is x equals 2.7 or x equals negative 0.7. The solution set is 2.7 and negative 0.7. Now, we came to the end of our session today. Thank you very much and good luck.